I am. So I'm going to try to I'm going to have a video with you all today, a video message with you all today about some of the things we talked about on yesterday that I think um, a lot of people seem to have been interested in, and I think this might be helpful to you. I've never done a nutritional video before, or just talked about weight loss and health and so forth, and fitness and so forth, and things like that. But I thought that I got a message uh, today about hey, what do we do after we've gone through all this in terms of nutrition? And there are some of us that already have a regimen that works for us, and this video is not for those people. This video is for people that actually are looking maybe for a different path in terms of weight management, weight loss. What do I eat? What I not eat? Okay, so I'll tell you right off the bat that I'm going to show you a couple of apps today and a couple of things that I'm going to try and share my screen later. But I'll tell you what my journey was in this space. You can take notes and so I'll tell you what my journey was. I'll tell you some of the things I do, and then and in between I'll probably give you like some ideas of different things you can cook and how I cook some of these things, and so forth and so on. So the way that I grew up was whenever we were bored, whenever we were happy, whenever we were sad, we ate. And so food became a real crutch for me. It became something that I used to manage life. And that is absolutely not what it's for. It's there for fuel. It's there for to help you to do whatever your purpose is, but it's certainly not there for that. So I had a lot of times when I struggled with weight loss, but I always wanted to attain fitness. Primarily because when I was in elementary school, I went through a lot with that. Because when you're overweight in elementary school, you don't get picked to play on teams and so forth. You pretty much in isolation. It's just a lot of different things. I never liked it. Um, my father was fit, my mother was not, and so I had these two dueling kind of psychologies going on there. But anyway, long story short, um, I am capable of losing weight very quickly, and I found a system that really works for me, and I thought I would share that with you today. Um, and so the first thing I would say is that being vegetarian or vegan is a decision that I made for spiritual reasons as well as health reasons. In the context of spiritual reasons, I don't look at it in a way where it should be a burden, meaning that I'm reading every single thing to try to figure out if there's any trace of animal product in it at all. First of all, I think that's almost impossible because the world that we live in has so many different massive lies, and um, there's so many so many integrations as it relates to food prep in the factories and so forth that you really cannot totally predict that unless you're raising your own food and making your own products. And I don't have time for that. So if you're that kind of person and you got time for that, then go do that. This video is probably not for you. Um, I live in the world, like I live in the fantasy, and I'm raising my kids in the fantasy. And what I'm trying to do is figure out how do I survive and live the longest I possibly can within the context of that. So I don't try to understand every single chemical in all of the food that I'm eating. I do practice excellence, which is to continually improve myself. So if there was one message that I would say, the first message I would say to you today is you have to be on a mission to continually improve yourself. That means that you don't have a goal. You're not trying to get to a particular weight. You're not trying to get to a particular size or a particular look. You decided that you're on a journey to continually improve yourself. And once you do that, then that means, okay, well, right now I may not be reading all of the labels, all of the ingredients on the label. I'm just looking at the caloric intake. I'm just looking at the fat. I'm just looking at the fiber. But eventually, maybe I will start looking at some of those other things. And one of the problems that I find is that really like gets under my skin is that you have people that while you are trying to just get started, they dump all of this extra information on you to the extent that you're so frustrated that you don't do anything. So, like for example, maybe you want to be a vegetarian. You're not ready to go raw, but you want to be a vegetarian. And then people tell you how a soybean patty is actually full of this or full of that. So you don't even buy the soybean patty. Now you're not buying anything, and eventually you drift back to whatever you were doing that was killing you or causing inflammation in the first place. I just personally I don't have time for that. So I will tell you right now, please don't come to me with the experts because I have found that I have been more consistent than 90% of the people that have brought me expert information. Okay. I've had people judge everything I eat or drink and so forth. And then I look back a year later, a couple of years later, and they're not even doing the things they were suggesting to me. So find your own path, find out where you're comfortable, do your own homework, and start to really put together a program that works for you. So that would be one of the things I would say to you. Um, with that said, I would also say that being a vegetarian is great in theory, but it's only great if you are really managing the kind of vegetarian products that you're consuming. In other words, there are some, for example, there are some people that'll say, well, I'm vegetarian, so I don't eat cheese. But if the cheese you eat has more calories and is made out of things that are not as good as regular cheese, then just say you're a vegetarian with dairy with provisions for dairy because um, I don't like I don't even like the taste of most of the vegetarian cheese, but I can also tell you that the calories are out of the ballpark for some of that stuff. Um, if I sit and I say I'm a vegetarian, but I'm eating a lot of bread, how am I going to say I'm vegetarian? I'm eating bread if the bread is being made with milk and eggs and all of that. So let's just cut the BS and just be honest and say, okay, I am a person that I prefer a plant-based diet. I'm trying to go that direction, but I will make modifications for convenience if necessary. I'm not going to stress myself out because it's a spiritual thing and it's a nutritional thing. And I'm trying to do the best I can within the context of a social fantasy. That's the bottom line. Um, you have some people that say they're vegetarian, but they eat cake, you know, or honey buns and so forth and so on. Um, and when you're a vegetarian and you're overweight, it's like people look at you like you're a vegetarian because in the world's mind, most vegetarians are slender people. So we're not worried about what the world is saying, but we really do have to ask ourselves, like, what works for us in terms of a vegetarian diet and being really raw honest with it so that we can actually feel better because so much of the physical dysfunction and the emotion that we feel comes from the physical weight that we carry. So that's why I'm doing this video so that we can kind of talk about it. Okay. So now I'm going to try to share my screen, and I'm going to talk to you about uh, the Weight Watcher system that I use. All right. All right. So that's working. Okay. So this is completely free. I would never, like put out something that you got to pay for unless it's worth paying for. But Weight Watchers is a program a lot of people are familiar with, but they don't really know how it works. So you can see here that there is a link, calculator.net / Weight Watchers dash, I'm sorry, weight.watchers dash points dash calculator.html. So there's a Weight Watchers calculator. You can also just Google Weight Watchers calculator, and this app will come up from Weight Watchers. I'm sorry, from calculator.net. And there's a number of calculators that's been used for Weight Watchers. The one that I like is the Old Points calculator. Okay. Now the way that the point system works is basically you're trying to lose weight, and you know that your caloric intake versus your how much energy you put out is going to determine how much weight stays on you. So if you're only putting out enough energy for to be at a certain weight, and your caloric intake increases, then beyond what it takes to maintain that weight, then you're gonna gain weight. But if you decrease your calories, then your weight's gonna go down, right? As long as you continue with the same amount of physical activity. Now, let me say at the onset, one of the things I do not practice is I am exercising to lose weight. I do not exercise to lose weight. I exercise to be physically fit. And once you distinguish the difference between the two, and some people would argue with that. I'm not here to, I tell you, don't bring me experts. The reason I say that is because psychologically, what happens when I try to mesh the two together is that I start trying to make deals with myself and say, okay, I can eat this because I'm going to exercise this amount. So if I eat this and it's higher calories, well, I'll just exercise more. That never works for me. I don't believe in it. I'm going to have a specific number of points a day and a specific amount of calories a day. Now, another thing that people will do is they says, okay, well, the daily diet amount that a person should consume in terms of calories, maybe it's 2,000 calories a day. Weight Watchers is not built on that. Weight Watchers is built on a point system. So you establish a number of points that you're supposed to have. And then if you're not losing weight, then you decrease that number of points while maintaining the same level of physical activity. Okay. So I would say most people, larger people, should start off with maybe 20. If you're eating a whole lot of stuff you shouldn't be, and you're like 20, 30 pounds or more overweight, then I would say start off with a range, a point system, a number of points between 20 and 24. And I'm going to show you how this works in just a moment. For me, I typically do like 15 to 16 points a day, because that's what keeps me at my ideal weight. But you don't have to start off with that. I wouldn't suggest you start off with that. I would suggest you start off with a total number of points and see if you sustain your weight or if you lose weight based on your continually doing what you have been physically doing all along. Okay. So Basically, what you would do is you would get a product and you go to the old points calculator. And let's say it had 140 calories. Okay, and I'm going to give you an example. Um, I know you probably can't see this. I'm going to look up a couple of products and then I'm going to plug them in for you. Okay. So, like a Snickers, for example, is 215, about 215 calories. One little Snicker bar, 215 calories. 11 grams of fat. That's a lot of fat for a little small Snicker. Now, that's total fat, by the way. That's not saturated fat. That's not trans fat regulation. That's total fat. Okay, don't forget that. That's very important. It's the total fat. It's the big bold. It's the one with the big bold print. And then its fiber is 0.8. So calculate that. Now that's 5 points. You said, oh, well, I can eat Snickers. Think about how small a Snickers bar is. So if you have 20 points in a day and you had one Snicker, that's 5 points. So that means now you have 15 points left. Average meal is 7 points. So if you had breakfast, I'm sorry, not breakfast, but lunch and dinner, and both of those were 7 points each, that'd be 14 points plus 5 would be 19 points. And you still haven't had not one thing to drink. If you drink a soda, which is typically 4 points, you're now at 23 points. If you drink a soda and a tea, both are usually about 4 points, now you're at 27 points. That's how you gain weight. Okay? So a snack should never be 5 points. Only your meal should be somewhere between 5 and 7 points. Okay? So that's an example of how this point system works. All right, so now I'm going to show you another little thing here. We're going to do a flour tortilla. It's a regular old flour tortilla. My computer's a little slow, but I'm trying to. All right, so flour tortilla. $159 calories for one flour tortilla. One. A small little flour tortilla that you might get, I'm sorry, 190 for one of the Mission Burrito flour tortillas. 190, 11, and 3. 190, 11, and 3. So it's 190, 11, and 3 points for fiber. Calculate that. That's going to be 4 points. You say, oh, well, that's not that bad. But how many of you, when you eat a soft taco, only eat one? You don't? You eat two? That's what I thought. So if you eat two tacos, two flour tortillas with nothing in them, nothing in them, no cheese, no lettuce, no nothing, you're already at 8 points on a 20-point scale. That's almost half your points for the whole day. You see how this works now? If you were to throw a veggie patty in there, which is typically 3 points for each one of those tacos, 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 8, now you're at 14 and all you had was tacos. You haven't put any cheese on it. You haven't put anything else on it. So you can start to see how this system really helps you to start to evaluate. Now I'm going to give you an example of a technique I use, okay, for that same food, which is a flour tortilla. So I use, let me see if I can share this with you. Uh, Let me get it going first. Oh, my computer is so slow. Okay. Wow. Jeez. That's what I get for trying to do this like this. Okay. So now I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, this one. Okay. So it's actually showing you both screens now. Okay. So you see down here at the bottom, this is called Extreme Wellness Keto Tortilla. Okay. And you can see here that one tortilla only has 35 calories, 1 gram of fat, and 7 fiber. Okay. Now let's go back to um, the Weight Watchers calculator. 35, 1, and 7. 35, 1, and 7. Oh my God. I can eat that tortilla and get no points out of it. I can eat two of those and it's only 1 point. Now, earlier I ate two tortillas and it was half of my caloric intake for the day. All I had to do was switch brands and I can eat those and I can have two of them for 1 point, which means that I could have a veggie patty, which is 3 points, chop it in half, which is a point and a half each, which means that I only have 3 points to 4 points for two huge tacos, all because I changed the brand and I took out time to read what I was eating, to go through this process with Weight Watchers. That's the benefit of doing this. Okay, so I'm not gonna keep. I don't want to keep you too long, but I'm just giving you kind of like an idea of how this works. Um, and we can talk about this some more on Thursday if you guys actually watch this video and you're interested in it and you want to know more about these techniques because it is very scientific. It doesn't have to be cumbersome. It actually can be fun. Um, Now, all of the because like vegetables and fruit, they don't have points. So I can eat as much spinach as I want to. It's how I prepare it. Okay, but as long as I don't use more than like a teaspoon of olive oil for like an individual meal, then I can eat all the spinach I want. Chop up some wonderful onion in it, garlic, fajita seasoning. Um, I don't have the brand of fajita seasoning right now, but if you ask me, I can look it up later. But I put fajita seasoning in it, garlic, fresh onion, chop it up, cook it, not to the um, spinach is wilted, totally wilted, but just as it's starting to wilt just a little bit. I'll cook it to that extent, and then put it in a one of those tortillas that I just mentioned, the Extreme Wellness tortillas, and I can eat two of those for 1 point. Now I got 14 more points that day in my line. You got 19 more points in your line if you weigh 20, 30 pounds over. Okay. Um, I can come back as a snack and have as many grapes as I want, many apples as I want, as many bananas as I want, and none of those are going to cost me any points, not 1 point. On the other hand, if you roll up on about a bag of trail mix, it's not a good idea. Most people think when they eat nuts or trail mix or something like that, they think that they'll say something like, "Man, all I had was some trail mix today." I have a statistic here that says 1 cup of trail mix of a particular trail mix, and this is this is the average trail mix. 600, 1 cup of it. Not, you know how you had a big bag of trail mix and you just snacking on it all day. All I had was trail mix. 693 calories. Peanuts are highly fattening. Nuts are highly carry a whole lot of fat. That's why they can make peanut oil out of them. 44 grams of fat. 44 grams of fat. So I'm going to take a, this is a, looks like they're not going to give me the nutrition on this one, which is really jacked up. They know the routine, right? Um, yeah, I'll probably have to find another one that's going to tell me what the nutritional value is. That's just wrong. Okay, so I have some trail mix here, and this is going to be Amazon. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so this trail mix is 170 calories, right? Now I want you to notice something in this. It's 170 calories. Look at this. This is very, very important. Serving size 3 tablespoons. You have to read the serving size because that means that if you eat the whole bag, that you're not getting 170 calories. You're getting 5 times 170. Okay. So let me tell you how much that is. That's 850 calories. That's 55 grams of fat and 10 fiber if you eat the whole bag of trail mix. And this is not like some huge bag of trail mix. Okay. So one of the things you have to do is when you're using the Weight Watchers calculator, you have to look at how many servings are in the container you're eating from, and you have to look at the serving size. So again, trail mix is extremely, extremely fattening. And that's just one example of how, you look at it. And my goodness, if you think about that, um, if you think about eating something like that, let's go back to the Weight Watchers calculator. Now plug in 850, 55, and 10. Calculate. That's 21 points. Now, if you were on the daily calorie um, diet and it says you can have 2,000 calories, you would tell yourself, oh, well, I can eat, 3 bags of trail mix. It's okay because I have 2,000 calories in a day. But what that diet doesn't tell you is even though you're taking in 2,000 calories, look at how much fat is going into it. So that's what Weight Watchers does is it takes that calorie and it tells you what are the real dangers here for you. So 850 calories, 55 grams of fat, and 10 equals 21 points. So that 1 bag of trail mix takes away all the points you had for the whole day. Took all of the points away that you had for the whole day. It would have been better for you to have some fresh fruit, which would have been 0 points, apples, grapes, bananas, strawberries, blueberries. You could have that. You could come back and for dinner, you could have dinner. You might have like Kale salad with some chicken strips. Get the kale salad, spray some olive oil on it, makes the salad come alive. Put some fresh rosemary on there, black pepper, Himalayan sea salt. All salt is not created equal. Himalayan sea salt is great. I like that. Um, and garlic cleanse the blood all over again. And maybe you want to have a side of corn. And quickly you have, as soon as you're eating corn, you have some people jump out at you. Oh my God, you're eating corn. It has sugar. Okay, I get that, but I'm hungry, so this is 0 points. And when I start to decrease my caloric intake, I'm losing weight. I'm going to become more confident and stronger, and I'm headed towards veganism. What I said from the very beginning, like I'm looking at self improvement. I want to improve, and so there's a process for me to do that. Um, Beans are 0 points. I can go and get some navy beans. If you have a slow cooker, you can put them in with some water, some olive oil, some fresh garlic cloves. You know where you get the garlic cloves and you like chop it up. Okay, not garlic powder, garlic cloves. Chop up the garlic cloves in little bitty small chunks. Put some delicious rosemary that's going to bring that flavor out in it. Um, some seasoning salt to taste. Some fresh onion, some fresh green onion, some fresh bell pepper. Okay, you're gonna be tempted to put some rice in it. Don't put more than a tablespoon of rice in there. You don't need all that rice. If you just gotta have some rice, maybe put a tablespoon. He says, "Oh well, I'm healthy because I'm gonna put quinoa in." Quinoa has a lot of calories. So for somebody that's a real like a vegan, you know, quinoa is great because they need that protein and that power. So like on some of my alternative meals, I give people quinoa because the way that they eat, I want them to get that power that comes from the quinoa. But for those of us that are struggling with weight, not the way to go, right? We want to stay away from it completely. But if you just like, well, go ahead and just, let that bean soup simmer all day with that garlic and that rosemary in it, the seasoning salt, um, black pepper, fresh white onion, fresh green onion, bell pepper, and just let it simmer all day until those beans are just like really, really soft. And that olive oil is taking all of the air out of them. And they're gonna with navy beans, they make their own sauce. So you don't their own gravy. So they really release their essence into the soup. So it's really, really good. Um, I like red beans. Red beans. It's one of the things about beans when you cook them for a while. Maybe with the exception of black beans. Black beans are a little more ornery, but like red beans, they'll release their own juices as well. Now with my red beans, I like to put some cumin in there in addition to everything else I just said on the navy beans because the cumin is going to give it more of that chili-like flavor. Cumin. I like to put that in there. Um, I don't like the bell peppers in my red beans. Okay. Um, you can even go as far as to maybe give maybe one Morning Star patty that you fry with olive oil and chop that in and put that into your red beans. Try to stay away from the rice because if you just put one veggie patty in there, the whole thing is 3 points, and you can have a big bowl of bean soup for dinner. What else do you want? What else do you need? It's delicious. This deliciousness. Um, so we got navy beans, red beans with black beans. I like to add a tablespoon of olive oil with my black beans. Um, Let them kind of saute in that. Some fresh cilantro. Got to be fresh cilantro. Maybe a little bit of tomatoes. Be careful of sun-dried tomatoes. They have a lot of calories. Um, I'm still haven't gotten any points with my black beans, tablespoon of olive oil, and my onions and cilantro. I'm gonna add some taco seasoning. See, seasoning is what makes food delicious, and I don't have to necessarily worry about that with my point total. I'm not going to add that into my point total. So I'm going to get some McCormick's taco seasoning add to those beans, and then I'm gonna go get those tortillas I showed you earlier. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap those black beans up in that. And instead of using cheese, I'm gonna put some guacamole in there, which guac is not gonna be any points. Guacamole is not gonna be any points. Fix it yourself. Maybe in another video I'll tell you what I put in my guacamole. But most guacamole is not gonna cost you any points. Does it have calories? Yes. But under the Weight Watcher system, it doesn't cost you any points. That's the point. That's the thing is the system has certain rules, and those rules help you. So you can use, the guacamole. You can put that on there. Fresh tomatoes. Guac is a great substitute for the cheese. And so can have two huge tacos for dinner for basically 2 points, and you got 20 points. If you cannot use points, don't use them. In other words, don't use all your points just because they're available to you. Don't play that game. That's how you lose weight. That's how you can lose weight in this system. Okay, so that's another thing that I eat that I really like a lot. Um, you can buy veggie wieners. Veggie wieners are deceiving because they're like 120 points. Um, they're like 60 points, 60 not 120 points, 60 calories each. And this is an example of what I mean by how you have to really be careful of things. Okay, so I'm gonna try to share this with you if I can. Okay, so like a veggie wiener is 60 calories, 2 grams of fat, and 0 fiber. So that's going to end up being about 2 points. So if you have two of those, that's 4 points. See, that's starting to get up there, but that's a vegetarian product, right? That's a vegetarian product. So now we're taking a look at those wieners. This is called Light Life. These are the wieners that I get, the vegetarian wieners I get. But yeah, so that's 60 calories. 2 grams of fat, right? 0 fiber. That's what makes it really a lot. Okay, so that's gonna come up 1 point. But if I eat two of those, 120 plus 4 plus 0, then it's gonna end up being 3 points. That's the actual numbers. Um, I know a lot of people they struggle with bread. I like the keto bread. The keto bread is what works best for me because if you let's see the nature's bread. I know I'm taking a long time with this video, but y'all asked, so I'm trying to do it right. I'm trying to do it right in case anybody actually cares about this and wants to do something. So I'm trying to do it right. So I'm trying to find the uh, nature's own bread calories because a lot of people are like, oh, I want the wheat. I only eat wheat bread. I only eat this. That all that's great, but how many calories and fat are in it? So, that's the thing. So some of these people make it so difficult just to get some basic nutritional information. Yeah. All right. So one slice of nature's own wheat bread, 60, 0.5, and 2 fiber, which is pretty good. That's 1 point. So you eat that bread, you eat 2 slices of that, it's going to be 2 points. Now Nature's Own is a pretty decent bread, but if you get a the keto bread is going to be 35 calories a slice, 1 gram of fat, 9 fiber. So it's 35, 1, and 9. So that's 0. So you can see, so like if you were to make a sandwich, let's say you're using those hot dogs, you put 2 hot dogs on there, that's going to be 3 points. Then the 2 slices of bread, that's another 2 points. So now that's 4 points. It's not that bad. You can eat that. But the keto bread is going to give you 0 points per slice. That's what I'm trying to say to you. So the keto bread, KETO, that bread, they make a variety of different products. They make hot dog buns, they make buns, and they also make the little sandwich thins, which I like those. And you can toast it. It's the thinner the bread, the let me see if I can share that screen. So you can see here, like these are the thins, and these are the regular breads. So you can get those at Walmart sometimes. Sometimes Sam's have them. You can also probably maybe order those through Weight Watchers. So that's one of the ways you can make sandwiches. Yeah, they do have vegetarian sandwich meat at Kroger's from time to time. I like the tofurkey, yeah, tofurkey vegetarian slices. Um, but they are like 3 points for 5 slices. So I only usually put 2.5 on my sandwich. Okay. I also only use light mayonnaise. Um, there's you're like, oh my God, you eat mayonnaise? Yes, I like mayonnaise. And if I eat it, I'm gonna make sure it's in my point total, because once I lose weight, then I'm going to be more apt to work out. Um, so these are just some of the things that you can do. Don't go to fast food restaurants. There's nothing in fast food restaurants but temptation. Stay away from fast food restaurants. Okay. Um, Pack your lunch every day. And if you want more recipes or more thoughts of different things that I make or whatever, I'm happy to share that with you within reason. Not to give away family secrets, but I'm willing to share that, because, like, yeah, if you're somebody that you having a weight issue, you're trying to lose weight, I'm very passionate about that, and I'm willing to help you out. So I hope this video was helpful in terms of getting you to think about how you can do this, and some tools that will help you get where you need to go.